What up and what's good, everybody? Kevin DTV back in full effect with another video as I break down the 1987 classic RoboCop. Of course, starring Peter Weller, Nancy Allen, Ronnie Cox, and Kurtwood Smith. Now, we all know that the main story surrounds around Alex Murphy as he being transferred to another police department because they need the manpower, and how he meets his new partner, Ann Lewis, as they trying to fill each other out. And, all of a sudden they get a call, and it just happens to be Mr. Clarence Boddicker and his goons. And unfortunately, in the pursuit of them, Murphy gets shot to death. And of course, we all know after him getting shot to death, he transforms into RoboCop. Now, what people need to understand about this movie is they was breaking down a lot more shit than just the story of Alex Murphy and how he became RoboCop. The whole point of this is to show you what they have planned for the future. And in other words, they plan on having a bunch of robots running up and down the street, ready to kill anyone at will. We all know as human beings, sometimes cops have remorse for people and they try to do the right thing by the people and by the community. But having these kind of robots around when they don't have no real emotion and have no real, care for the people, even though that's what RoboCop was supposed to stand for. But at the end of the day, we should all know what it is. And now, of course, he gets his memory back, which was supposed to be impossible, and it's just, the story goes deeper than that. And the big story behind this movie is the story of OCP and the old man. See, this is the story behind the story of how the old man, of course, with the help of Dick Jones and Bob Morton, he can be able to create his utopia in the next 6 months, which is Delta City. Now, in order for them to make Delta City, OCP had to make a few moves. And this movie was showing you just the first step of how OCP was going to take over Detroit, knock everything down, pretty much kick people out of their homes, and all this wicked stuff that they was doing behind the scenes. And of course, you look at it from their point of perspective, they're doing the right thing by making it more safe, and things of that nature. And that's pretty much what they're really trying to do. They're really trying to get rid of the human cops, so then that way the cold-hearted robots that they have will be able to kill anybody at will and don't really have a feeling in the world about it. And as you see, that OCP was also involved in a lot of business ventures when it came to hotels, space exploration, prisons. They pretty much involved in a lot of stuff. If you pay attention to what Dick Jones is saying in this scene here when he's breaking stuff down before he introduces Ed 209. Bottom line is that, I can only imagine how, a corporation can be able to be that cold-hearted to the point where they would drag people out of their homes, because a lot of people would not be able to afford anything that OCP offers. And they know this. This kind of reminds me of New York, where, certain businesses and certain, real estate organizations and things of that nature were going out of their way to make New York look better, but it's not looking better at the benefit of the people who live there for years and years and years, and certain businesses that have been there for years and years. And I've seen cold-hearted corporations just like OCP here. But let's just get back to OCP. Just imagine, right? Just imagine if these two guys, were able to get along, Bob Morton and Dick Jones. Just imagine if these two guys got along instead of being in competition with each other about whose robot was better and, and what their robots are capable of more than the other and all that other corporate crap that goes on there, Just imagine if these two were standing side by side. It would be crazy, because with them already taking over the police department, and if they would have more Ed 209s on the street than RoboCops, because in order for them to make RoboCop, they have to wait for somebody to die or be considered legally dead, as far as what they were saying when they was putting him back together and and making him a machine. They have to wait for somebody to die. Where in Dick Jones's cases, he don't have to worry about that. All it has to do is build the damn thing, and it's pretty much a wrap. But if these two stood side by side, there would be RoboCops and Ed 209s all over the place, and there ain't nothing that nobody would be able to do about it. Not even the rebels. The rebels can go get some of the most powerful weapons, and it probably wouldn't even work. But their main goal is to use crises in order to take over Detroit. That's why Dick Jones and Clarence Boddicker are mainly working together, because Dick Jones handles the corporate side of things, and of course, Clarence handles the street aspect of things, because the main step in this movie was to get the police to strike. And what better way to have the police strike than killing mad cops? I mean, in a short amount of time, 32. That was 31 cops, including Alex Murphy. And then, cops is like, oh, we can't take this no more. Like, they was telling Sergeant Reed, like, this is bullshit. Like, there's too many of us getting killed out there. Like, one guy was just like, we lost 5 guys last week. And the other one was like, we getting creamed out there, Reed. So that's why a lot of them wanted to strike, because they got tired of seeing their comrades go down in battle, knowing damn well it shouldn't have been this bad. And it shouldn't have been to the point where all these guys is dying damn near like a day or two, ahead of each other. And it was just insane to them. And they like, they like, yo, we ain't going through this no more until something is done to the point where we can be able to be out there and just, it's one thing to handle a mugger or, even a little robber who robs a bank. But Clarence Boddicker was on a whole nother level, and that's why them two work together. And like I said before, their main goal was to get the police strike to happen so they can create more havoc in the streets. That's just the way it is. And a lot of times, that's what happened with big cities. They try to make it go private and try to invoke martial law, And just like in this movie, you see how the people, the civilians are acting, as a result of the strike. One guy didn't like it. This guy's like, hey, it is what it is, and it's the truth. And that's exactly what they wanted to happen. And the police eventually did strike, and look what happens. Nothing but havoc in the streets. It's just like Reed was telling them when they was talking about striking. He was like, you listen to me, you asshole. You talking about shutting down a major metropolitan police force. Without cops, this city will tear itself apart. And that's exactly what was happening by the end of the movie. You see everybody looting and plundering and doing all kind of crap. You know what I'm saying? Like, just breaking windows, busting in the stores, doing stupid shit. It's not like after the police strike was over, everybody was going to be civil and be like, oh, okay, we're just going to take care of our own communities and, and just let the cops handle their shit the way they want to handle it. No, of course, they're going to do stupid shit, trying to rob stores and get everything they can get, before the cops go back on duty and all this other shit. But like I said, and with Dick Jones working with Clarence Boddicker, now he has the access to not only get the powerful weapons just to kill RoboCop, but at the same time, to create the most havoc in the streets. Because all that shit them guys is doing right there, just busting windows and shit, that ain't nothing. And you know what I'm saying? That ain't nothing compared to what these guys got, And thanks to him working for OCP, technically indirectly, he was able to have access to such powerful weapons. Because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to. Well, you got to think about that one for a minute. So this is really why they're doing this. Because OCP is a bunch of ruthless corporate crooks, pretty much like any other corporation that's at the $5 billion mark, or, any of them clubs with them big time corporations. Left up to them, this is how every city would be, in total chaos, and that would be able to bring in martial law. And like I said, that was OCP's reason for taking over the police department, so they can be able to make their own moves within the police department. And that's exactly what they did. And by them doing that, of course, like I said before, Clarence was used to kill all those cops, including Alex Murphy, to bring about a conundrum about what's going on. And they like, we done with this. We tired of seeing our comrades get killed over some senseless shit. You know what I mean? It's like, it's one thing I involved in a little gun battle every now and then, and a cop gets, hit, just like officer down, but that's what it is, man, and in this 3-part series, I will also be breaking down RoboCop 2 and RoboCop 3. So I hope you guys enjoyed. how I broke down this first part of this three-part series of this three-part series of RoboCop. Excuse me. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will check you all later. Peace and love.